Hi everyone, this is Giacomo Vaccari and I'm here to show you a very quick tutorial, very simple stuff about how to reset your camera when you are in a third-person game. Don't worry about that coming in and coming out of the camera. That's the next tutorial that I'm gonna look into. So let's say you have your third player here and you have the camera like this, but you want to be able to do this. So I'm going to show you two ways of doing that. The first one is, well, both of them are based on this. So I have set out an arrow on the player to the point where I actually want the camera to be, or to signal. So this arrow is obviously going to have like a rotation. You could take this rotation and just set it to the camera and like save it on a variable or whatever, but you know, I don't see any good reason to do that, honestly, at the moment. This is just for a tutorial. So basically this is the input action to reset the camera, which in my case I've set out to, as you can see in the game pad here, to the joystick button. So there's two ways of doing this. If you don't have to lerp between it, if you just want to do it the way that Unreal likes to do it, which is at this speed and at this, like this very simple way, this will work for you 99% of the time, unless you are like very specific about how your camera behaves, like I am. So it will be extremely simple. You just have to say to the just get the camera default rotation, which is in this case this this arrow that I have, get its world rotation, get the Pong controller and set the Pong controller rotation to that rotation. Simple as that. Extremely simple, and it works really well. Like, it doesn't do any weird things like the one I'm gonna show you later, which is a little bit nicer, but it does some weird things. It will just take this rotation and move the camera boom to that, and that's it. Simple as that, because the camera boom is controlled by the control rotation, or by the controller, right? So this is very simple. But what about if you want to do it in a little bit prettier way, you know, and like with an ease in or an ease out and stuff like that, right? What about that? Let me show you how that looks. Let's go here, like this. It's a little bit prettier. I mean, I haven't like, you know, it's a little bit softer. It's like something like Nier Automata or like Platinum games, you know, they take a lot of care about these things, you know. So very beautiful. Ease in, ease out, or in this case I think it's only an ease out correctly. You could do lots of things like circulars. I don't even know like what that will do, but yeah, it's just it's a circle. Very simple. So right, so let me show you how to do this. This is for the previous tutorial, so don't worry too much about it. Let's forget about this right now. So input reset camera, we press the button. This is just to show you the lerp version, and what's gonna happen is that if our controller rotation is not the same as the world rotation of the arrow, camera default rotation, then we will continue in here in this gate, and this gate is here, so like we will stop. So for example, let's exaggerate this. So we will stop rotating the camera at some point, because if we never stop rotating it, a lot of weird things happen. So here it stops rotating even before it actually gets there, because the value is very high. But imagine if I don't have this, so it's always true, this is gonna happen. It's never gonna stop following us. So you really don't want that. So you need to let it stop at some point, and this is just like, you know, like a tolerance, and it's not super important. I mean, you would have to use a very high number to make it not work. But the point of this gate here is that if the rotation of the camera is close enough to the rotation of the arrow, it will stop moving. So it will just go back to its normal behavior, and that gate will be open when we press the input reset camera. So basically, for example, here, it won't do anything. It won't open. I mean, it will open, but like for nothing, no time at all, because this will be false, right? So we open it with the reset camera. Let's assume that this is true, that it's not the same. So every tick, we come in here and every single tick we add a little bit of the rotation to the camera, so the boom, because that's being controlled by the control rotation. So we're gonna lerp between the current rotation and the rotation we want to go to. So that will be the current get controller, in its location, its rotation, sorry, and the actual place where we want to go, which is where the arrow is, its rotation. However, you do want to make sure that you are not setting the roll. You want to forget about that, because if you let the roll in, let's try to get it. Usually happens here. I don't know if you could appreciate it there, but the camera keeps a very weird angle laterally, so you don't want that. Okay, so just take the roll out. So basically the camera is going to adjust itself on pitch and yaw. So it's going to rotate around the character like this, and it's also going to adjust itself like this, but we don't want it to adjust itself like this. Okay, so obviously very simple, and you can do this with a lerp, which would be faster, but I like the ease in out. It's beautiful. And you could do this alpha here with a timeline if you wanted to. That's a way of doing it if you wanted to last a specific amount of time, but I found it not to be worth it. It's quite nice just like this. You want to deal with complexity in a very nice way, and eventually if you have a very complicated controller, you're gonna get a lot of complexity in there. So basically you just want to keep it very simple. So just get the wall delta seconds, which is, for those of you who don't know, is the same thing that would come from here if you set it to a variable. And that's extremely simple. Like I said, the non-lerping system works beautifully. Oh wait, I broke something. Let's see what I broke. Oh yeah, the blend exponential is like the speed at which you're gonna move the camera around, so the ease in and ease out and stuff like that. So as you can see, with 1 it's quite fast, with 0-1 is gonna be extremely fast, like too fast probably for most cases, because if you were doing this you can break it very easily. So 2 is usually 1, 2 is like a very good number. 10 is like too slow, so you can barely appreciate it. I mean, it's basically not happening. As you can see, it's just not working. So yeah, like 1, 2, something like that. That will also change depending on this, on that function. By the way, you definitely want to have shortest path in there, because if not, it can do weird things. Let's try to get it in a weird position. Well, it's not doing it now, but I've been in situations where it would get here and it would not move, and it would do, there we go, I can't get out. Yeah, see? So it's trying to go above the character and do weird things, and I can't get out of it. So you definitely want the shortest path, because then it's gonna work out. Check it out. Like, even if I do this, it should work perfectly. There we go. See? It's just getting there. I mean, obviously if I move a lot, he's never gonna get there, so you don't want it to be this low. You want it to be a little bit faster than this, but you get the point. Anyway, I hope that was useful, and yeah, take care, guys.